Warning us of the high fast flows on rivers throughout Northern California, but it can be hard to grasp like how fast is really fast. What does that mean? How does that feel unless you're in the water and feeling it for yourself?
Well, not only fast, but just how strong that current is. So let's go to meteorologist Heather Waldman, who volunteered to safely show us what we're talking about here. She's out at Riverbend Park. So yeah, you got the life jacket on, you've got everything ready to go. So this is really interesting stuff, Heather.
Yeah, Galston, Lisa, as you said, safety was the name of the game, hence the life vest. And we also chose a spot along the lower American River here at Riverbend Park where actually the water is relatively tranquil compared to other spots along the lower part of the river. But still, if you go up to Nimbus Dam, water is being released there at about 15,000 cubic feet per second. That's a number you hear thrown around a lot, but what exactly does it mean? Well, 1 cubic foot of water is about the same volume as an NBA regulation basketball. So picture 15,000 of these pouring out of the dam every single second. But of course, as you head downriver, the strength of that flow is going to change dramatically with time. So photographer Drew and I came out here a couple of hours early and we did some obviously very scientific experiments. You can take a look here for yourself. Brought a tape measure, brought some flowers to toss down the river, and we basically timed how long it took those flowers to travel a certain distance. From there, we got the speed of the water. Now, where I was standing, water was moving maybe about 1.5 to 2 miles an hour at the most. But back out here live, if I were to have walked another, say, 5 feet out into the open part of that water, it's moving 3, 4, 5 times faster than that. If I were to go into that water up to my knees, that would be about 5 pounds of force on my body. But if I were to go into that up to about my shoulders, say about 4 feet or so, that's where you're looking at about 50 to 60 pounds of force of that water moving up against you. So that's going to be hard to stand in, let alone swim in, hence the warnings of staying out of the water altogether. I want to show you an aerial view too here, because we talk about the currents changing as you go along the river, but even at one point they can vary really dramatically. What you're looking at is a view over Jim Jones Bridge. We shot this yesterday, and notice how the current by the shoreline within the first few feet, not all that strong, but you go into the middle part of the river and that's where it's really moving. If you come to an area where the river is getting more narrow, that can actually speed up even more. So important to, of course, be wary of your surroundings there as well. As far as the temperature goes at this particular spot, we measured 55 degrees on average, give or take. Honestly, standing here with my feet in the water, it feels pretty good. But water of that temperature, if you are submerged in it, it can get dangerous in as little as an hour. So again, it's best to heed the warnings of staying out of the water, at least out of the rivers altogether, although there are some safer options for you getting into this holiday weekend. But for now, live at Riverbend Park, I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman. We'll send it back to you.